What's going on YouTube? Ferocity here. I hope you guys are doing well. Whenever there is a brand new Call of Duty game, there's always this debate within the Call of Duty community regarding skill-based matchmaking. And that same debate begun on the first night of Modern Warfare 3. And we've seen that debate get heated up throughout this game's life cycle in the short week the game has been released. And here we are now, a week into the game, where many players are just straight up frustrated with the current matchmaking system and are asking for a massive change. And honestly, I feel as if the needle is moved and more people are on the side of adjusting, changing, fine-tuning the skill-based matchmaking system to not be as strict, to be a little bit more lenient so that players can have more fun. Because as it stands right now, the game is losing a lot of that fun factor. It does not contain it. And if you look on Twitter, Reddit, throughout YouTube, you'll see the general sentiment and consensus that skill-based matchmaking needs to be adjusted. Something needs to change here. And despite some shills out there trying to tell you that skill-based matchmaking is good for the game and it improves player retention with no data to support it, with no data to back it up, I just don't believe that it's providing the same intention that it's supposed to fulfill. I don't think it is actually helping player retention. I think it's actually being counterproductive. I think it's pushing more people away from Call of Duty than bringing them in. And of course, there's no way to actually look at this and fact check it because Activision loves to hide all of their player base numbers. They don't want to be transparent with the community. They haven't been for years. And for those of you that want to shill for them, want to say that it's all about player retention, show me some hard data to support that. And if you want to use the argument that it's in every other game, you're right. Skill-based matchmaking is in every other game. However, it's not as detrimental to the user experience as it is here in Call of Duty. When I go play a game like Dead by Daylight that has invisible elo, has skill-based matchmaking, I never feel as if I am playing the same match over and over and over again. That game has true variety, and even when you watch the top streamers, even when you watch players that have 10,000 hours in that game, it does not feel as if they're playing these insurmountable matches every time. They're not playing a competitive DBD match every single time. That's not how it feels. Even if I go play Apex, or I go play Fortnite, or other games like Halo that have skill-based matchmaking, the matchmaking system does not feel as detrimental to the experience as it does in Call of Duty. They have pushed too far. They are pushing away players instead of accepting them. Like I've said before, I am all for protecting the bottom 10%, 15%, 20% of players and allowing them a system to learn the game, to get better. I'm all for that. I'm not against that. But why create a system and curate a system for the 20% of players versus the 80% of players? The 80% of the players are the ones who are suffering. Protect the 20% and let the 80% play within their own confines. Let me play against some of the pros and get absolutely shelled. Let me play against some players that are learning the game a little bit more. Let me play against players on my own skill level. Let the teams be mixed up. I am all for that. The variety, the spice of life, all of that gets me to play the game more. Let me play a little bit more casually. Let me try some more things out. Let me play with my friends and have it be a good experience. And that's the thing that nobody wants to answer. Whenever you ask a shill, hey, what about me playing with my friends? Why is it so hard to play with friends in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3? They never have the answer because they have to go against their own argument that skill-based matchmaking is good for the game. It improves player retention. Because it doesn't. When you can't play with your friends, you're less likely to play the game. When your friends are having a bad time or you're having a bad time with your friends, it's not fun. And I'll tell you this, a very small percentage of people want to pub stomp every game. Yes, there is a percentage. Let's call it 5, even 10% of the players want to pub stomp every single game. I am not one of those players. I want that variety. Again, I don't think we should cater the game to small percentages. 5, 10% is a small percentage. 20% is a small percentage. 70% of players that just want to have that variety, want to have that opportunity to hop into a game and not have to try their balls off is the majority. Stop catering the game to the small percentages. Stop saying that our argument is only valid because we want to pub stomp. That's not true. That is mischaracterizing the argument that skill-based matchmaking, the way it stands right now in Call of Duty, is bad for the game. It is bad for player retention, and it is completely counterproductive for retaining players. And you know what? If there were metrics that supported player retention, that skill-based matchmaking in its current state actually brought more players in the game, kept them for longer, made them have longer play sessions, I would rescind my argument. I would say, well, I guess I'm wrong. I'm in the minority. I'm the problem here. I don't think skill-based matchmaking is good. Maybe I'm the issue. I'd be the first person to come on and admit that I'm wrong. The problem is there's no data to support the claim that it is retaining players. There's no data to support that skill-based matchmaking is improving users' experience. Because I don't think it is. I honestly do not believe it is. And there's a reason why they're not transparent about it. There's a reason why they don't talk about the player numbers. There's a reason why it is so hard to find out how many people are playing Call of Duty right now. It's because they're scared to reveal those numbers. Because if they reveal those numbers to us, their shareholders see them. And their shareholders will say, why is no one playing the game? And what nobody over at Activision or any of its developers has the balls to say is that the decisions being made by the shareholders are directly affecting their games and their success. Because that's what's happening. Look at Modern Warfare 3. You think this game was developed by a group of passionate developers? No, it was a mandate from shareholders above to try to get as much money out of this community as possible instead of creating a really good experience for this community. And it shows every time you boot up Modern Warfare 3, every time you go into Call of Duty HQ, this game is not something that is made from passion. It is made by people who know nothing about game design and know nothing about making players enjoy their experience. Modern Warfare 3 is a frustrating experience. It is an experience that has very little fun factor to it. The armory challenges are the biggest example of that. Skill-based matchmaking as well. And I don't want to keep having the same conversation and keep repeating myself year in and year out. But here we are again with stricter SBMM, less transparency, less honesty, and people going against their best interests. I'm all for protecting that small player base. I'm all for trying to grind to get better. But it should be done on my terms. I shouldn't be forced to play the same games over and over and over again. I shouldn't be penalized for trying to have fun using meme classes. I shouldn't be penalized for just trying to enjoy myself in a video game. Because as it stands right now, the way I have to play Modern Warfare 3, the way to have fun in Modern Warfare 3, honestly, isn't fun for the majority. It's fun for a very small percentage of people. Why are we catering the game? Why are we basing our entire matchmaking system around a minority of players instead of the majority? And that's really all my argument is. I don't think skill-based matchmaking should be completely removed. I think there should be some sort of skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. But it shouldn't be like this. And again, if I want to play against people of my own skill level and I want to try to get better, I want to use the meta every single game, I want to go play ranked. However, that's not an option with Modern Warfare 3 yet, because they refuse to allow ranked to be a playlist live on day one, whereas this was live on day one of Black Ops 2. It is absolutely unacceptable that we're still in this state for Call of Duty, that we have to wait for ranked matches, that we have to wait to actually play a cohesive game, because the game still isn't broken. But don't worry, skill-based matchmaking is here to stay, and they will never say anything on it. If they could just be transparent, if they could just be honest, even if they showed us fake numbers, I would sit here and say I'm wrong. I would accept it. But they won't even do that. They won't even be the smallest bit transparent, the smallest bit honest with their community. And that is the number one issue I have. Just be honest with us when it comes to skill-based matchmaking. That's all it's going to take.